This is a free download from the BBC. For more information, go to bbc.co.uk/podcasts.
Haven't, mate. I've just started recording. Is that recording? And if it's not, I'm going to hit you. And if it is, I'm going to hit you.
Yeah, it's recording.
Told you. Who is that?
Me. Danny. Yeah.
He doesn't look anything like you. He's good looking, this guy. And I don't mean that in any kind of way. So don't...
You've got the same haircut.
I don't know if I want to turn your mic on.
I should. I wrote all this for you.
Yeah, it's your job, mate.
Well, actually, I wrote the last bit for you.
I don't know if I want to turn his mic on or not, because the attitude... It's on. Don't blow it.
Yeah.
Don't answer back!
I'm just happy that you've put my mic on.
Know your place, my friend.
Where is Kelly? Oh, she's in another dimension.
She's mudding it up in Glasgow. Yes.
Okay, what have we got here? Let's have a little look.
Are you happy with this final draft of yours?
Yeah, it's had 3 writers.
Right, okay. Have
Like
you
a pop
checked
song.
it? Don't pass the book. This is your responsibility. Have you checked
yeah.
it?
Good.
I can crush you. I can crush you like a fly. Not a fly, because they're actually quite hard to catch. All right, there is on the floor of my bathroom. This is a true story. There's a dead fly. If I wanted to, I could crush it, or I could wrap my hand in about 7-8 rolls of toilet paper, pick it up like that, and then drop it in the toilet, and then flush it. Okay.
You could flush me.
I could do either of those things to you. You are that dead fly. You are lower than that dead fly on my bathroom floor.
Why are you saving a dead fly?
I just can't be bothered. I'm hoping that my wife does it or one of the boys eats it.
Saving it for conversations like this.
He's doing it again.
Shh.
I'm going to crush him.
Can I have a little go as well?
The last person I crushed, his name was Ricky Gervais, and actually went on to be quite... I've crushed other people since then better.
Who?
Sacha Baron Cohen, ever heard of him?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
No.
I crushed him.
Oh.
I've crushed loads of famous people before they were Hello and welcome into Iain Lee's podcast. It's me. Join me as I take you on a wondrous journey. Buckle up. Who wrote this?
Kelly.
This is good stuff.
Actually, I wrote that.
This is rubbish.
It was Kelly.
She's good. Buckle up and hold on tight. Here's the first nut job... nice caller that rang me this week. Colin in Harpenden. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning, Ian.
What was that noise?
Morning, Ian.
No, before that there was a...
No, good morning. No, nothing.
Yeah, but before that, you went... yeah.
Oh, it must have been the dog's on it, though.
The dog... It was coming from... It was your voice, unless your
No,
dog...
I don't know.
You went... You did.
I don't know, Ian.
You did. You went...
I don't know, Ian.
And you know what effect it had on me?
What?
They just give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, it really did. It really, really did. What have you got for us, Cole?
Yeah, underwater. I played
Yes.
a prank on my 3 children.
Oh,
about holding your
beautiful.
breath underwater for my more than 5 minutes.
What? How did you do that, mate?
Well, down Batford, River Lee, in Harpenden, yes, you got the ford where and the waterfall where it goes over and drops.
Yeah.
So all 4 of us lined up, and it was put your head underneath the waterfall and hold your breath the longest.
Yeah.
So we all went under, and they just popped up, I don't know, after 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and 2 boys
lightweights.
popped their heads out,
Yeah, idiots.
I just carried on holding my breath, and by which time it was passers-by, and I'd gone more than 5 minutes, and they were trying to pull me out, and in the end I just stood up and said, "What's the matter?" And they couldn't believe it. I said, "Well, there's a little pocket of air. If you go further in, there's a pocket of air." And they couldn't believe
Hey,
it.
you terrified your kids for the sake of a laugh.
know.
I like your style.
I know.
I like
Got it.
your style.
Got
Is
on,
it true, right? Because you see this in films, that behind every waterfall, there's like a secret cave that's either got pirate treasure or dinosaurs in.
Exactly, I found it.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it's the erosion of the rocks and everything.
It's
You
the
go back
Asians in the
people hide
rocks.
stuff.
It's the Asians in the rocks.
Yes, people hide things behind in the
Hang on a minute.
in the void.
We just talked about illegal migrants. There are Asians hiding behind waterfalls.
Not Asians, no, treasure, you said.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. Thank you, Colin. 03459 455 555. Guys, be honest. Am I an idiot?
Yeah.
Don't be that honest. This stupid, ugly kid reckons I am.
Iain Lee, you're an idiot.
Ouch.
You can hear an adult laughing there.
Yeah.
All right. Paul, I said, listen, if you want your kids to send in jingles for the show, please do. Paul has sent in one. Iain, as requested, here's my son Wilson's jingle effort. Sight unseen, Paul. Thank you. Let's have a little listen to this. Here we go.
You are listening to Iain Lee,
thank you,
BBC Three Counties
Thank
Radio.
you, young man.
What an idiot!
Oh, you are
ouch.
that is bang out of order. Kids, can you stop calling me an idiot? One of those stupid, ugly kids ran back to admit,
I am broken Britain.
hadn't they?
Glad you can see it.
Probably drunk on glue pie. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not you.
Oh.
Her.
Oh. What?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Forget it. Catherine, do you want to do this bit with me?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Snuffer's great story.
Snuffer's great story. Who?
Snuffer's great story here.
Nice one.
Who's there?
Sorry?
What?
Did I say you could speak?
Knock, knock.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, Snuffers. Ever taken a picture of your what's-it and sent it to a lady so you could see her doodah?
Not that I can recall.
OK, what have you called in for?
Underwater stories.
Oh, yeah, this is one of the top topics of the week. Underwater stories. Snuffers, what have you got for us?
I used to live in South Africa, and I became good friends with a doctor there, and we used to go fishing, but we used to go spear fishing.
Yeah, the only way to fish.
So manly.
It's either spear fishing or tickling a trout. That's the only way to fish, I find these days.
Guddling, that's what you call tickling a trout.
Cuddling a trout?
You lie on a riverbank and stick your hands under the bank and you tickle the fish.
Oh, cheeky,
anyway,
sir. Yes.
And so we used to go spear fishing, and we basically went spear fishing one evening. It was about 7, 8 o'clock, and he was the only one who used the spear gun. I wasn't allowed to use it because I was a bit haphazard. We were basically spear fishing for about, I don't know, half an hour, and we got caught in a bit of a bad current, kind of coming past a few rocks.
Yeah.
And he got swept backwards and inadvertently shot himself through the leg, through the thigh, with his spear gun. And it was about a 12-inch spear.
Eesh.
Went straight into his thigh. Probably missed coming out the other side by about, I don't know, 3 inches. And there's just this pool of kind of red.
That'll be blood. That'll be blood, Snuffers. I don't want to break it to you.
Yeah,
that'll be actual blood.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Good call.
And so I kind of swam back with him to the shore, got him back out, and he could kind of hobble, but very slightly.
Yeah.
And so I said, right, we'll get you to a hospital. And he was like, nonsense, absolute nonsense.
Oh,
And
these
so
Saffers are hard, aren't they?
We went back to his surgery, and he basically kind of numbed the pain, took the spear out of his own leg.
Oh.
Hang
on, the spear was still in his leg?
The spear was still in his leg.
Oh, gosh.
The spear was still in his leg.
This is Snuffers, can I just stop you? This is the greatest story ever told. Oh, no, hang on, that's the Bible. This is the second greatest story ever told. Continue, sir.
And so he very reluctantly let me drive his car.
Yeah.
But I drove him back to his surgery. He took the spear out of his leg, sewed himself up, and then he was like, right, I'll drop you at home. And I was like, okay. So he dropped me at home, and basically about, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks later, we were talking about it, and he's lost all the nerves and nerve and feeling in the top of his thigh because of the spear that's gone through. So he now uses it as a bit of a party trick. At a restaurant, he'll deliberately get something kind of poured on his leg, like coffee, something like that, and he just can't feel it.
So it would have to be something hot for it to be impressive, wouldn't it? Otherwise it's just liquid. I can do that.
It's just an inconvenience.
Snuffers, incredible. Almost as outrageous as the time I trod on a sea urchin. Almost.
I mean, almost, yeah.
We'll add it to the list. Have you ever pierced your own flesh and ever performed an operation on yourself? The list just keeps growing, doesn't it? 03... Thank you, Snuffers. 03... Leslie in Luton called in. Now, we're not sure what he wanted or what he was going on about, but if we had to sit through it, then you guys have to sit through it as well. OK, Leslie, I'm going to go through the topics for you, and let's see which ones you can go for, OK? Right. Have you ever died?
Many times.
Oh.
Hang on a minute. Well, when? Tell us the last time you died.
I died about 2 years ago. And I came back.
You died
I'm
about...
just passed out. I didn't know how I passed out, but I just passed out on the floor.
No, hang on. Did you pass out or did you die?
No,
because you're probably thinking that you die every night about 11:30, and you come back to life at 7:00 in the morning. That's called sleeping, Leslie.
No, well, I've got no chance of dying at 11:30. I'm at work.
Okay. Have you ever actually died?
I don't really think so.
Oh.
Ever been to a hot place?
What sort of place?
Hot.
Yeah, the last time I was in Barbados, that was hot.
Now, Barbados, I bet, is too hot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very hot.
Yeah, it's too hot. What do you do to cool down in Barbados? Have a lolly?
No, you can't. Cold is all.
You can't have lollies in Barbados?
No, because it's all to make your body sweat more.
Do they have mini milks?
Mini what?
Mini milks. You may know them as mini milks.
No, I don't.
Do they have funny feet in Barbados?
Pardon?
Do they have funny feet?
Yeah, they got them all, mate. Barbados is when you're in Barbados, you're still in England. That's
No,
why
you're
they call
not.
it
No.
England.
I bet they don't have a knobbly bobbly.
They got them all.
Fab?
You go to the supermarket and they got them all there.
Okay. One thing, if I could pick you up on, when you say when you go to Barbados, you're still in England. That's not true. You're actually in Barbados. Have you got any underwater stories?
I can't swim, so I'll leave that alone.
High stories?
No, I don't like heights.
Ever seen a cat's bum?
I don't look that far.
Have you ever pierced your flesh?
Many times.
When? Is this the same as when you died?
Yeah, when you died and it never happened. What have you stuck in you, Leslie?
I do pierce my flesh when I've got bumps or something.
When you've got bumps, you pierce your flesh?
Yeah,
okay.
What's the bump?
And have you ever operated on yourself?
Many times I stitch myself up.
Oh, here we go.
He's like Rambo.
Tell us the last time you stitched yourself up, you fantasist.
When I've had a big cut, I just take the needle and bear the pain and stitch it up.
Do you really sew your own cuts up? Why don't you... They've got these things now called plasters.
No, plasters wouldn't help. Plasters just make it worse.
Plasters don't make it worse.
Shall I tell you a story I read in the papers?
Yeah, go on, why not? Dealey?
Yes, boss?
Leslie's going to tell us a story read in the papers.
Okay.
Okay.
It is about a footballer, but I won't call no names, right? Yeah?
Yeah, go on. I'm worried. The fact about football.
Footballer,
yeah.
right?
Oh, God.
Am I allowed to say sex?
You can say sex, but nothing else. Just say, yeah, you can say sex,
yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Famous footballer had sex in a famous supermarket car park, right?
Right.
It cost him £140, I understand. But I think if he had it in one of the German supermarket car park, it would have been cheaper.
Okay. Thanks for calling, Leslie.
Cheers.
Anyone? A Bedfordshire carpenter claims he's become a one-man border patrol, like the A-Team, but there were 5 in the A-Team.
They never killed anybody. He's not killed anybody either.
No, thanks to the number of illegal immigrants jumping out of lorries at Toddington services. Chris Gadsden says he regularly rounds up stowaways. Well, on the show, Richard Howitt, the Labour MEP for the Eastern Region, joined me. Here he is, ignoring every question that I ask him. And so just how would you put your the minds at ease of the people you represent?
By listening to Mr. Gadsden himself, who says that the people that are coming out of lorries are subdued, are calm. They're just people who need water and food. By listening to Bedfordshire Police, who say it's 6 people that have been found. By listening to people
who do we believe? Bedfordshire Police, like or Chris Gadsden,
like
who
the
says
refugee
it was 30 last week?
Like the refugee agency in Bedford, who actually want a more rational debate to understand who the migrants are and to understand their personal histories, and who show some compassion. And there are a lot of people in churches, in voluntary organisations, who are part of our proud community in Bedfordshire, who don't have a harsh attitude towards immigration, and good for them.
Is Chris Gadsden a liar?
I just said Mr. Gadsden is himself saying the people are subdued and calm.
No, he also said that he found 30 people last week. You're saying that's not true. Is he a liar?
He also said on your news bulletin at 8 o'clock that that people hadn't been violent or threatening, but that, of course, for him and his family, he was worried about
the number of
I think that's telling the truth, and I feel compassion with him.
Okay, but just specifically on the figure that he said, let's say 30 people last week. Is that a lie?
Well, obviously, I'm not standing in a field in Bedfordshire. I'm not going to say that is or isn't. I don't know that. What I do know is that the job, if there are illegality at any level, including illegal immigration, is for the police. And when I read not on BBC Three Counties, but in the tabloids, that a farmer is rounding up illegal immigrants, it's not the job of any of us who's a citizen to round people up. I'm sure Mr Gadsden himself didn't use that language. It's the language of the tabloids. But my message to everyone listening is, if you see and hear illegality, the one number you ring is that of the police. And in this instance, the police have dealt with 6 people, and good for them for doing so.
OK, so you're sticking with the figure of 6 and ignoring Mr Gadsden's figure of 30.
I say I feel compassion for Mr Gadsden. He's worried for himself.
I don't see what that sentence
family.
has to do with the question I just asked you. With the greatest of respect, Richard, that what you've just said has got no relation to the question that came before.
I said I'm not standing in the field in Bedfordshire counting numbers, and neither are you. And with respect, neither of us know the answer.
Well,
neither of us know.
But again, Richard, I'm not having it. You're not going to get away with it. He has said 30 people. You're disputing that. You don't believe that.
Well, I've also read that he said 60 people, so obviously different newspapers and reports report different things. So is it the 30 you've just said, or the 60 that Sky News said? Which is it?
I can tell you, Richard, it's the 30 in a week, it's 60 over a longer period of time.
OK, well,
so it's both
start counting which days. You don't know and I don't know. I don't criticise you for that.
Richard,
but I do want a rational, calm debate about immigration.
Then answer the question, Richard. Do you think
the question is, I don't. Politicians must be honest. There's been a lack of trust in politicians that has caused a problem in our country. And if you don't know an answer to a question, you have to say, I don't know. No, if you don't know, be honest and say, I don't know. I don't know the numbers, and I'm not going to pretend I do. I don't think you do either.
No, Richard, I do. I'm telling you the numbers that he has told us, OK, whether that's true or not. He has seen 30 in the last week, 60 over an extended period of time. Do you believe him, or do you think he's lying? It's a very straightforward question. Do you believe him, yes or no?
I don't disbelieve him. I've got no reason and no wish to disbelieve him.
Do you wonder why Labour did so badly Do you wonder why Labour did so badly in the last election with the fudging of questions like that, sir?
I don't believe that we didn't win the seat in Bedford because I'm being very honest, saying if I don't know an answer, I don't know it. And I think there's respect amongst people who are voters, even if they don't, however they vote, if politicians try and be honest, but also on an incendiary issue at the moment, which is very toxic in British politics about immigration, with people, not you, not the BBC, but people on the far right, including those people marching in Luton this Saturday, who want to inflame this debate. And the fact that I'm trying to have that debate, and I believe the BBC plays a brilliant role in this, so I make no criticism of you, but I'm trying to have this debate in a calm, rational, reasoned way based on fact, not inflaming the debate. I believe that reflects well on the Labour Party, not badly.
Here's an old person interrupt. Why don't you ever go? This is your big break, OK? People say, how did you get into showbiz? And I say, well, I slept with the right people.
You crushed Ricky Gervais.
Steady. So I'm going to give you... This is your break. And when you look back, either as a down-and-out living under a park bench or a successful multi-millionaire media person, what was your big break? You'll say it was when Iain Lee... It'll be Sir Iain Lee, then, probably. Let me do a link on the podcast. So this is it. This is Sliding Doors. You know Sliding Doors?
You should watch it. She's got a great haircut.
It's Sliding Doors. You're either about to get on the underground train... or not get on the underground train. Directed by Joey from, not Friends, from Bread. So, you're Joey from Bread. You're about to get on an underground train or not. Away you go.
Here's an old person interrupting a caller.
He didn't get on the train, did he?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Hello.
Good morning, Veronica.
Good morning.
What would you like to say?
Well, I operated on myself.
Oi. Hi, Chihuahua. What did you do?
Well, what happened was I had an accident at work.
Hang on a second, Tony. Tony, Tony Blackburn's joining us now. Tony, put your headphones on.
Yes.
Veronica's going to tell us how she operated on herself.
Operate on herself in what way?
Well, let's listen and find out.
I'm interested.
Me too. Well, I'm glad. That's why we're doing it. Blimey.
Okay. So
Yes, go.
I had an accident at work and I slammed a safe door on my thumb. And it's like in the cartoons. It went immediately black and huge sobbing, and it was just awful.
Did it go completely flat?
No, it didn't actually. It just got really huge. Oh, actually, it did for a few seconds, and then it went huge.
What did you do to your thumb?
I slammed it in a safe door.
I've done exactly the same. Isn't that interesting? Look,
you have
look
to,
at that.
Oh, blimey. You have to speak loudly because he's getting on a bit. Yeah, it is. Your thumb is
Look
black.
at that. Look at that. An electric door, it actually went into my thumb like that.
Yes.
I had to rip it away, and if you can imagine, that was hanging off, and I ended up in... I didn't operate on myself, obviously.
Yeah, well, you're not as tough
9
as Veronica.
stitches in that.
Yeah, you're not tough, though.
Come on, Veronica, put him to shame.
Come on.
Put him to shame.
Mine's
ex-military, you see.
Yes.
Ex-military, so you do these sort of things.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was I lived in Huntingdon, and the A&E didn't have anyone that could X-ray it that evening.
Yeah.
So I was told to come back the next morning, but the pain was just incredible. It
Not
was
as
the
much
worst
as mine.
in the world.
So let Veronica, leave her alone, Blackburn.
This is a naff story because mine was worse.
Excuse me, just hang on a second, you'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm there, and I ring up the A&E again. I said, look, for goodness sake, you've got to help me.
Yeah,
so she
please.
says, if it was me, but I can't recommend this to you,
Yeah.
what I would do is I'd make a hole in the nail. So I said, well, how can I do that?
Oh.
She says, get a paper clip,
Yeah.
heat it up to white hot, and
Yes.
push it through the nail.
Yeah. Releases
I
the
thought, oh my
pressure.
God.
Yeah.
It does. So here am I, and I've got a large glass of brandy,
Yeah.
sat next to the gas cooker
Good
with
girl.
a paper clip.
Beautiful.
3:00 in the morning.
Oh.
White hot paper clip, pushed it to my nail. Oh, the pain. So then brandy, heat up the paper clip again, push it through the nail, brandy, and it went on like that for about 4 or 5 attempts of trying to do it. But let me tell you, when I broke through, the relief was just amazing.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Veronica. Tony?
Yeah, it's nothing
stop
next to mine.
No, stop it.
Come on.
Paul Scoins, the political reporter, has come in because he wants to hear this story. Yeah. And while you're telling your story, Veronica, which is amazing, thank you.
Nothing next to mine.
Tony's leaning over to Paul going, have a look at this.
Well,
Stop trying to steal her thunder. 9
stitches in this, and it was hanging off. This, if I hadn't,
for goodness'
if
sakes.
this thumb would no longer be there if I hadn't.
She had to become an alcoholic to deal with her pain. So you managed to.
I was an alcoholic before I had.
I did spend 14 years in the Air Force, so I was probably halfway there already.
What's that got to do with a thumb?
Don't you can't. She served her country.
So what? So what? I mean, yeah, great. She served her country, but it's not got nothing to do with the thumb story, is it?
Right.
He has got
the brandy has, yeah.
I was in the brownies.
No, it's the brandy. Brandy,
Steady.
not brownies.
A lot of your sort were. So, okay. So, Veronica, but your thumb is okay now. You managed to pierce the nail.
Yeah, and I saved the nail. It never fell off.
Well, that is wonderful, and I can only apologise for one of our senior broadcasters here at BBC Three Counties.
Did she keep the nail?
Just please, Veronica, go, please have a nice day and try not to let Tony Blackburn have spoilt it for you. Thank you very much indeed. Paul Scoins joins us. Good morning, Paul.
Morning.
Political reporter for BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello.
You've met Tony before, haven't
Yes,
you?
yeah.
Have you
We've
broadcast
had
with
many
Tony?
times. No.
You can't get a flipping word in edgeways with him.
What are you talking? You can talk.
Yeah, well, I can't when you're in. That's the problem. I can't.
I've got a chopping off your thumb story as well.
Have you?
I sliced off the top of this thumb whilst
Hang on,
chopping...
you've got a chop story. Wow, okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, okay, let's hear your chop. There we go. Yes, come on.
I once the end of my thumb off chopping spring onions.
Oh, nasty business.
It's very
nasty.
It was.
Nasty business. That.
Can we see the tip of your thumb?
You can. You can only really just see the.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not as bad as mine though, is it? Once again, I think in the thumb stories, this is the big one.
Okay.
I mean, 9 stitches.
Yeah.
In that.
Wow. I mean,
9 stitches.
gosh.
And I had it sort of bandaged for 3 months.
Wow.
You know they say never meet your heroes.
Yeah. This week on my show, I had one of my all-time favourite ever... No, it wasn't Justin talking to a man about Stonehenge. It was, in fact, when I got to... My all-time ever what?
Don't know.
This
Who
week
wrote
on,
this?
Did
Did
you
you
My
write
all-time
this?
favourite ever. No, Ollie wrote this.
Ollie.
The cleaner, the old cleaner. We're employing her now to make up for the fact she's not got a job anymore.
No, the other Ollie.
This week on my show, I had one of my all-time favourite ever...
Chats.
No, it wasn't just talking to a man about Stonehenge. Oh, no, this is good, this bit, and Ollie's now ruined it. It was, in fact, when I got to speak to Owen Elliot-Kugell, daughter of, anybody? Yeah, Cass Elliot, Mama Cass to you slackers, and she's the most delightful woman in the world. Have a listen to this. Owen, it's genuinely an honour to speak to you. We are very, very big fans of your mum here on this show, and we're constantly kind of digging out Cass Elliot tunes from her back catalogue. The thing that frustrates me about your mum is that her solo albums they sort of manage to sneak away without people being that aware of them in some instances.
Yeah, you're right. That's largely the catalog, the RCA catalog, really the post Mamas and Papas.
Yeah.
My mother had a couple of records that came out that were successful in the solo way, make your own kind of music, it's getting better. But there were definitely some great records towards the end of her career that, they've been swept under the rug. One in particular that she made in London.
Now, which one was that? That wasn't that was the Cass Elliot album, wasn't it?
No, it was The Road Is No Place for a Lady.
Ah, yeah. She made it. And it's odd because they were really hard to track down on CD, and I've managed to track them down. And they're brilliant. And I can't understand why they're not, kind of regarded as classic albums.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, too. But the record company that she made those records for, RCA, which is now BMG. They don't see the commercial value in those records, so they never did anything with them.
They don't see the treasure they're sitting on. And if anyone wants to, and also the Don't Call Me Mama Anymore, the live album.
Yes,
that's just a joy, isn't it? And it kind of it highlights A, that she was an amazing singer, and B, that she was just so funny and relaxed, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, and she really came into her own towards the latter part of her career, and and what I like about those records, about those last three records in particular that she made, was that when she finally made the break away from Dunhill Records, which was the label that the Mamas and Papas had recorded for, and that she had recorded for subsequently her first couple of records. When she finished that contract and she went on to a contract of her very own with RCA, she was able to finally choose music that she really wanted to sing.
Oh, and she was going towards more of a Broadway feel, wasn't she, towards the end?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's really where she started, if you want to know the truth. I mean, really, the truth is that my mother went to New York City when she was 19 to become a star on Broadway.
Isn't it true she went up against Barbara Streisand at one point for a part?
She did. They auditioned for the same part in I Can Get It For You Wholesale, which
hard job for that
Barbara
producer.
got.
Yeah. What a hard job to choose between those two.
You're celebrating this week because she's finally got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well, she will be getting the star on the Walk of Fame. They announced the class of 2016, if you will.
Right, okay.
The next batch of stars that will be honored within that year.
Now, why is
one of them.
Why is this so important to you?
It's important to me because long after my time on this planet has expired, her name is still going to be on a star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
And for, God willing, hundreds of years to come. And my fantasy is that one day a small child might be walking with his parents on that street, and he might happen upon her star and wonder who she was.
Yeah.
And maybe then he'll discover her. Maybe that's how the legacy lives on. So
Catherine's kids love Cass Elliot.
They're obsessed with her. In fact, at one point, my 3-year-old said she wanted to be her when she grew up. And she wanted an outfit. And we had to cobble one together. I mean, she just loves her.
Oh, that is killing me. I love that. Well, my mother had very special place in her heart for the United Kingdom, and you do know that she passed away there.
Yeah, of course.
But she did spend a lot of time there as well, and like I said, that record, The Road, was made at Trident Studios right there. And I remember being brought along for that trip. That's the only time I've ever had a passport in my entire life, was to make that journey at the age of 5.
Oh, you Americans and your lack of passports, for goodness sakes. There are other countries in the world, Owen.
Well, I'm a tourist. I like to stay on the ground. I like to remain.
I get that. Your mum was. You were 7 when Cass passed away. Is that right?
That is.
How much? I mean, well, 7's quite. Is an. How much do you remember of Cass Elliot, the superstar? You say you went to some recording sessions. What else do you remember?
I remember being at, you remember things through a child's eye, right?
Yeah.
I remember going to, you mentioned the last record, the live record. That record was recorded live at Mr. Kelly's in Chicago. And I remember being at a few of those shows, but my memory of being at those shows was actually just being very upset that I was not allowed to bring my Jell-O from the backstage to the audience. Like, that was really where my mindset was. So,
but Jell-O's good. I mean, I can completely understand that.
Delicious.
But you were hanging out with. I mean, she had a lot of famous friends. One of the stories is that she brought Crosby, Stills, and Nash together. It's disputed in some areas, but you were surrounded by rock stars when you were growing up.
Yeah, absolutely, and the level in which she was instrumental in getting Crosby, Stills, and Nash together is the only fact that's disputed. She is absolutely the person who put that group in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Where it happened is always the question.
That's the disputed bit, isn't it? Was it her back garden? Was it? But she wasn't. She was looking after. She was such an Anglophile that when the Hollies came over, she was looking after Graham Nash. She kind of took him under her wing, and then she said, "Oh, you must meet my friends Stephen Stills and David Crosby."
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. And Graham is a gentleman beyond being a gentleman.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. And to this day, every time I see him, couldn't be more lovely than he is. Like,
can I just say, really? I love the way you say Graham, as opposed to the Graham, the British Graham.
Well, I'm an American.
I know. I love it. I love it.
An American with a Welsh first name. Like, what's that about?
What
right?
are you doing, Owen? Because I know that you sing and you kind of look after Mum's estate. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm raising 2 teenagers.
Oh, man.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I know. I have a 16-year-old daughter who looks more like my mother than I do.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. And a 13-year-old son, and a wonderful husband, and a little sausage dog.
And they must be, maybe not the sausage dog so much, but they must be so proud of, they must be aware of their grand's legacy.
They are beginning to become of it. I think, when something grows up, when you grow up with something as your normal every day, it's hard to put it into perspective, It's what you know to be your everyday life. And my daughter, I think, is starting to get it a little bit.
Yeah.
My son a little bit less, maybe.
What does it say on the star? Because if you've noticed, we are doing our best not to say Mama Cass, because she kind of... Am I right? After the Mamas and the Papas, she was desperately trying to ditch the Mama label that had been foisted on her.
Yeah, she was, and that is something that I actually went back and forth about a great deal. And I know that she definitely was trying to ditch that moniker.
Don't Call Me Mama Anymore, of course, is the song.
But unfortunately, she passed before she was able to completely successfully move past that. And more people than not identify her as Mama Cass. And for that reason, I felt it was important. And the Mama will be in quotes.
Okay, good. All right.
But you know what? There's
quotes.
There's an affection in that, though, isn't there? There is an affection in calling her Mama Cass.
I think so, and it's odd because I've fallen into a habit of when I call my girlfriends, and some of them are other children of the mamas and papas, and usually when I greet them, we've fallen into "Hi, Mama, how you doing?" And it's a little bit more than weird.
Flipping it, there's so much of this.
I might have to cut some of it.
Well, no, I just mean there's a lot of words for me to say. I've said enough words already.
You've not given me any words to say.
Well,
I think that is a ridiculous idea.
You do some now, I'm bored.
Turns out this week was the 30th anniversary of BBC Three Counties Radio. Well, sort of anyway. It used to be called Radio Bedfordshire back then. Here's Iain and Jonathan Vernon Smith enjoying some clips of the station from the day it launched. And I say enjoying, they laughed at them.
I hope there's not swearing on that video you're showing me. The first one was filthy. That second one was very sweet. The video of your gran walking the dog. The first one was disgusting. How did you do that? Who was holding the camera? Was it a selfie stick?
I don't know what that is.
What is it?
You've now look. What have you done here? You've put all this equipment in the way. I can't see your face anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't see yours, mate. That's a good reason. I don't know. Whoever, it's. I don't know. Hey, listen, happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
What's happened to your eye?
I've got hay fever. Shut up. That's not very nice. I'm suffering here.
What happened to your legs? Oh, I've broken them. Why are you in a wheelchair? I can't walk.
I can't even see properly out of it. So bad today.
It is. Listen, my computer's all gone to what can only be described as cock. Hang on a second. Here we go. Right, happy 30th birthday. 30 years of BBC Bedfordshire and Three Counties Radio. Today.
Yes. Well, do you know the full story? Because it was originally BBC Radio Bedfordshire.
Yeah.
Then we rebranded, and it was BBC Radio Bedfordshire with Hearts and Bucks.
Oh.
that was catchy, wasn't it?
Shall we have a little listen to the I think this is the... What am I about to play, Catherine?
This is the opener. This is the first words said on air, recorded message from the station manager at the time, Mike Gibbons.
Let's. So this was 1985. Let's see how much fun BBC Local Radio was then.
Thank you, Colin Berry. And despite the bad weather, we're here at long last. And for the first time this morning, good morning, Bedfordshire.
Good morning on this, our first day on the air. It's the end of 10 years of planning and at the same time the very beginning of a new 365 daily service for you if you live in Bedfordshire, North or West Hertfordshire
daily,
or North Buckinghamshire.
Okay.
This is your local service giving you programmes you can't find
boy,
anywhere
doesn't it
else.
sound fun?
Not just the most comprehensive news and information service in the area, but also in-depth coverage when we feature you, your organisation and its activities, and your community's interests or concerns. There are 30 of us here, based in Luton and Bedford, and we're building
studios. At this point, I'd have gone, when are they going to introduce Heart to the area,
Too. I hope you'll tune in daily and see what we can offer. Each day will bring something new, something special to somebody, and at weekends you'll really notice the difference, from sport to art, from memories to local musicians.
Memories and local musicians. If only they could have predicted that I would be crashing their radio station on a regular basis and you would be tearing small companies apart because of a drinks dispenser that doesn't work in a faulty fridge freezer.
I don't remember it ever sounding like that.
This is the breakfast show. Hang on. And there'll be people on Facebook going, we should get that guy back.
BBC Radio Bedfordshire. No, we had better jingles
Monday morning,
then.
the 24th of June, 1985. My name is Gareth O'Callaghan, and for the first time, welcome to Breakfast in Beds
Strong
and
Irish
Hearts
contingent.
And Books.
When you
Gosh, they really were easing people into the morning, weren't they?
Yeah.
This morning we were playing a country version of AC/DC. Or Aerosmith, actually. Well, there you go. Well, that's that Facebook will be going, yeah, well, it should be like that all the time now. It's not like that anymore. They've ruined it. They have.
You must admit, though, the jingles were better.
The jingles, I do like those. I'm a sucker for those old jingles. I do like those old jingles.
They're stuck in your mind.
Yeah. They're talking out there. Sorry, guys, we're trying to do a radio show.
Sorry, we were just discussing a fantastic caller.
Okay, fine. Listen, I've got the whole back catalogue of the last 30 years on my computer. Yes, I have.
Have you got my first ever show?
I have got your first ever show. Would you like to have a listen to it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, let me just find it. Okay, here is your first ever show. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to put the wrong fader. Here we go. First ever show.
Knockers are better.
There we go. And boy, oh boy, things really have changed. And this is your
remember that, go on.
This is your show from yesterday.
It's got benefits and it's got disbenefits.
It's got benefits and it's got disbenefits. From the past to the present.
Oh, yes. Hardly anything's changed.
I can't remember why, but we were talking about Sir Leonard Henworth.
No.
Who wrote this?
It's not right.
Ollie.
It wasn't Leonard Henworth.
Flippin' heck!
Lenworth.
Sir Leonard Henworth. This week, we're getting your Lenworth Henworth stories. And then Posh Damon called in to tell us this. And I've had to change some of that to make it good.
Ollie.
Damon, I believe... Have you worked with Sir Lenworth?
I did work with Sir Lenworth back in 1998. Happy Days.
That was when he was in Happy Days.
No, they were Happy Days.
That was just when he was plain old Delbert Wilkins.
He was several people at the time, I think.
What? Give us your story. Give us your Sir Lenworth Henworth.
Well, do you remember the smash hit Sir Lenworth TV series Lenny Goes to Town? Do you remember?
Was that the one where he was
with Lenny in it?
Was that the one where he was a chef?
No, you were very close. Sir Lenworth would travel around the country and go to towns and bring joy and laughter to
And
various
Theophilus
towns.
P. Wildebeest. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, yes, he went, yeah.
I worked on the pilot of that series, which was called Lenny Goes Wild. Okay. And the idea was that every town that Lenny turned up in, he would adopt various characters and play hilarious pranks on members of the public there.
Oh, crazy.
Do you know, it literally was wild.
Yes.
So we went Northampton for the pilot and had great japes there, but he had to spend a long time in makeup every day, making him transform from just plain old Lenny into slightly disguised Lenny.
Yeah.
So one morning he'd spent like 3 hours in makeup, and he was a bit of a grumple puss first thing in the morning, and 2 hours in makeup, and he sent me off to get him a lovely cup of coffee to keep him going.
Yeah. And he was, of course, a trendsetter then, because we weren't really a coffee-drinking nation in those days.
No, we weren't. And in fact, I had to go to the fish and chip shop to get a cup of coffee.
Wow.
So there were no coffee shops around. So being young and keen, I ran off to get the coffee because we were massively running behind time. Yeah. And everyone was getting very angsty about Lenny taking so long in makeup. Yeah. Anyway, to cut a long story short...
Too late for that.
Too late for that now. Yeah.
It's always, I'm sorry, that's always my favourite line when someone says that. It's normally after that. It's normally some old woman phoning into a health phone-in on LBC, and you're thinking, you should have done that 10 minutes ago, love. Go on, sorry, David.
So I'm running back from the chip shop with my boiling hot cup of coffee in a styrofoam cup, because that was takeaway then, and he walks out of makeup, and we clashed in the most spectacular way.
Oh,
and
no.
I threw my coffee all over him from head to toe.
Oh, no.
And he was so angry. I mean, he literally was. Lenny went wild in Northampton.
There is still time. I don't know if you've got the Queen's address. It's 1 London. You can write to her, and there is still time to cancel the Sirhood.
Well, to be fair to him, he was so cross, but so wet and so covered in coffee, and everyone was laughing so much, apart from me, who was utterly mortified, that he eventually did see the funny side of it, and I just never bought him another cup of coffee after that.
And never...
But, we remain very, very close friends to this day.
When was the last time you spoke to Sir Lenworth?
1997.
Thanks very much for calling, Damon. Kelly is bunking off this week to sleep in a field with strangers, so we got left with Danny. Who's Danny?
This girl.
Hi.
Flippin' heck! She's got a blatant disregard for everything. Right, OK, so exciting times. What's the name of the young girl that's working with us today?
What, you mean Man Me?
Yes.
Man Me is Danny.
What's her name? Danny, morning, Danny!
Hi. Sorry, I got stuck on the chair there.
Yeah, you'll get stuck on that in a minute. Now, how many calls have we had explaining the mystery of giraffes' legs?
None.
Right, because if it had been Kelly, we would have had loads of calls, mate.
Right, well...
So you want to buck up your ideas.
Right,
You want to buck up your ideas, Sunshine.
Yeah.
You stop answering back, buck up your ideas.
Well...
Why are you answering... Why is he answering back?
Why are you answering back?
It could...
He's doing it again! No, mate. I'm not seeing any bucking taking place in there. Buck.
Do you want me to call in?
No, we're the BBC. Yes, I do want you to call
Oh, okay.
in. And we're not allowed to do that, do we? it. Just call in.
Okay.
It's your initiative.
I'm just asking a question.
Buck up. Tell him to buck up.
Buck up, you.
Oh,
Sounds ruder in Northern, doesn't it?
Doesn't it, just? This next bit is serious. Seriously serious. It's so serious that, ouch, we should put a warning on it like we're doing now. Old people are getting bumped by cyclists. Audrey called in to tell us about it. Don't interrupt! It's serious!
There's nothing at all about the cyclists who are dangerous on the pavements. Nobody is allowed to say anything to them apart from the police.
Well, you're allowed. No, that's not. Who's told you that?
The traffic wardens who are coming back to Caldwell Street over Town Bridge.
But the traffic wardens,
uniform.
Yeah, the traffic wardens. The cyclists on the street is not within the traffic warden's remit, is it?
No.
No, but other people can. You can speak to them if you want.
Yes, but would you?
Well, if they nearly knock me down, I'll tell them to go away. Of course I would.
I'm sorry, but my age group doesn't use that language in any case.
Your age group invented that language.
No, we didn't. Ian, stop it.
Have you got children?
Please,
Have you got children?
I've got grandchildren.
You invented that as well.
No, I'm sorry, but this is really serious.
I know, and I'm being serious. Why you're saying no one's allowed to talk to them apart from the police? Well, that's not true, is it, Audrey? Because you can talk to them.
No one is allowed to control them apart from the police.
And their parents.
Well, they're not there. No, please, I'm sorry. I don't want to be too long.
Well.
The pavement, the streets are clear.
Yes.
But the cyclists are on the pavement, and if we move to one side to avoid broken pavement, something like that,
yes,
the cyclist just hits us.
Okay, how many times have you been hit?
I haven't been hit.
Right,
I'm
okay.
more careful.
Well, how many people do you know who've been hit?
I know people that have been bumped.
They've been what?
Shoulders get bumped and so on.
Okay, and were they injured?
They have really been touched, and it's serious. And I'm sorry, I want to talk seriously about it.
No, Audrey, I don't understand why me questioning you, and obviously you don't have a little bit of fun, that's fine, but me questioning you, that is being serious. You've not been affected by it. How many people do you know who've been hit by cycles?
Fortunately, we have more sense than the cyclists.
So none?
And we've learnt to look over our shoulders and so on.
Right, so how many people do you know who've been hit by...
I don't know.
Well, is it none, or is it 1, or is it 10?
If I don't know, how can I tell you that?
Well, Audrey, why are you getting so angry? I'm just asking. You just said that you knew some people that had been hit by bikes.
Whose shoulders have been hit, but I don't remember them.
Okay. May I suggest that you're phoning up about a problem that you perceive might be dangerous. No, let me finish. That you perceive might be dangerous, but nothing's happened. It's annoying. You can tell them to get on the... When I was a kid, old people were always telling me to get off the pavement.
Go on.
No, I've got nothing else to say.
Things were different when you were younger, when you were a kid.
Okay. Well, Audrey, have you spoken to the police about this?
Yes.
And what
they can't do anything.
I mean, how often do you see it? Do you see it every day?
Yes. There is a national campaign. The cyclists are claiming that they are in danger because of car doors and so on and so on.
I wonder how many cyclists have been killed by cars.
Well, I don't know.
No.
But
and how many cars...
Excuse me, may I say something?
...have been killed by cyclists?
Excuse me.
Pardon?
Excuse me, may I say something?
Of course you may, Audrey, yes.
It really is a menace. It's dangerous in Bedford.
But you've not been hit personally or injured?
No, because got more sense than some people. And I don't have to use a walker wheelie thing, which makes it even more difficult. And I'm not deaf, and so on.
Okay. Well, Audrey, you've put that message across very nicely. I'm hoping the cyclists will be listening. Well, we got her back on the day after her rant to tell the Secretary of Hertfordshire Wheelers and one of the directors and founding members of the Alliance of British Drivers about the time she had to get out of the way of a bike once. Did you write this? Punctuation. Punctuation. 3 words. Punctuation. Couldn't have been Ollie. It had to be you, because this has only just happened like an hour ago. Punctuation.
My first statement is that it is illegal to cycle on a pavement.
Excellent, thank you. But none of these incidents that you were concerned about had happened to you or your friends, had they? Just to clarify.
Hang on. Yes, they have.
Oh, sorry, yesterday I thought you said they hadn't.
What I said was that nobody had been knocked down. Now, in High Street in Bedford yesterday, there are works going on with scaffolding and so on. Cyclists coming with the traffic flow on the pavement.
Yes.
Rode through, two of them, rode through the middle part of this construction, and I had to, walking up the High Street in the opposite direction, I had to step out of their way onto the road.
Okay. Well, that's outrageous that happened.
I know. Well, that's why I'm so annoyed.
Yes.
You haven't given me a chance to explain.
Well, I gave you 10 minutes yesterday, love.
No, you didn't. You kept interrupting.
Okay, well,
Please.
Okay, well, you've...
Please, I've got a bit more.
What?
I've got a bit more.
Then away you go.
Traffic wardens, unfortunately, do cross the town bridge because their headquarters are now in Caldwell Street. But they say to me they dare not say anything to the cyclists on the town bridge.
Let me bring in my guest.
Excuse me, you're interrupting.
No, I am interrupting because we are bound by the constraints of time, and we have two other guests on the line, Audrey. Graham Knight.
Thank you for inviting me on.
You can come back. You can come back in. We've not finished. It's a conversation. Graham, Secretary of Hertfordshire Wheelers Club, Cycling Club, and I'm sure you wouldn't condone this kind of behaviour, would you, Graham? But it does give cyclists a bad name, doesn't it?
Well, of course it does. And no, I don't condone it. Cyclists should not be on the pavement. And I think it'd be interesting to ask people who cycle on the pavement, perhaps you can find one for your programme, why it is they cycle on the pavement. They must know it's illegal. They must know that it causes a lot of distress, particularly to elderly people who are not so manoeuvrable. They should be in the road. Why aren't they in the road? I presume it's because they think it's dangerous to be in the road, and that's something that has to be tackled. Why do they think that?
Brian, from the Alliance of British Drivers, cyclists do, however much we have good cyclists like Graham, and there are lots of them. My father-in-law is a good cyclist. He loves it. There are the ones that give everyone else a bad name, aren't there, Brian?
Well, there are, but as I said before, there's bad drivers as well and bad pedestrians. And,
yep.
I would echo what Graham said earlier about training, that we should really treat road use of any kind as a life skill, and it should be taught in schools as part of the curriculum.
Do they still teach, Graham, the cycling proficiency in school? Because I remember doing that when I was a kid.
Excuse me, I taught that.
Oh, of course you did.
I think that there is still training. It's certainly not compulsory. That there is a scheme that's run by an organisation called the CTC. I think they run it, called Bikeability, and certainly in a lot of primary schools they do this, and it is trying to teach them how to cycle on the road. I think one of the weaknesses of the old cycling proficiency was that it didn't actually take people out on the road.
No.
And it's learning about the road and how motor traffic behaves. That's the important thing to give you confidence to cycle in traffic.
Can I read you a message?
Next time you see one, Audrey, ask them whether it's their mum who won't let them cycle in the road.
Yeah.
No.
No. Hello.
Hang on.
No, yes, I will.
The traffic wardens then speak to them. So
Hang on, Audrey, did you just laugh then? Did you just crack a smile, Audrey?
Will you stop insulting me, please?
We've got a message from James O'Brien on Twitter. James says, bloody cyclists. One cut me right up the other day when I was out in the Volvo. I nearly spilt my cereal.
So what? That's nothing to do with cyclists on pavement.
You're absolutely right, and I'll pass that message on to him. Audrey, thank you so much. You've been such a good sport, and I really appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you again.
Gosh, we're not psychedelic. Some far-right right-wingers are going to get together...
Far-right right-wingers?
Yeah. Some far-right right-wingers. It sounds like a football team, doesn't it? It sounds like a racist football team. that are really strong on one side but not on the other. So a right-wing group is getting together to have a little bit of a song and dance in Luton this Saturday. And we didn't really want to talk about it. We thought it was a little bit lazy to talk about it. What good is it going to do? Blah, 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 blah. Well, Steve did want to talk about it. And talk about it he did.
Yeah, too right. I'm livid.
What are you livid about, mate?
Well, what right have the police and the council got to try and put an injunction on them two people in Britain first? We've got a right. We've been told for years,
Dave?
from children, we live in a democracy. We're allowed to protest.
Yeah. Listen.
And at the end of the day, if they don't like, people don't like our views, people's views.
You should go back to a
democracy. You just
Muslim
have to
country.
accept it.
Well, here's the thing, right? The racist idiots that are marching tomorrow, they've got a right to protest.
Hold on. Where are you going racist? Mate, we're sticking up for the British way of life. We're not racist as such. It's just we don't like people that
have got different colour skin.
They're not compatible to Great Britain, and they should not be here.
So
are you aliens?
Are you a member of Britain First?
No, but I support the right wing because I'm fed up with the left wing and the middle.
And
they're
the
not
Muslims.
doing nothing.
You're fed up with the Muslims. That's what you're fed up with.
I don't want them here.
No, of course you don't.
They're alien to our way of life. They're compatible.
And you're right, Steve. That's my
opinion, and
Steve,
I have a right of opinion. If the
Steve,
police don't like it, tough.
Steve,
If the government don't like it, tough. Not interested.
Steve, you're right, and that's not racist. You're right, and that's not racist. No, these idiots that are marching tomorrow, they've got every right to protest, just as the council and the police have got the right to try and get an injunction to stop it.
Well, what's the point of throwing democracy down people's throats for 30, 40 years? You're allowed to do this, and when you go and do it, they go and stop it.
No, but they haven't stopped
it.
it.
Just because you're upsetting
Hello?
a bunch of foreigners, so what? They upset me by living here.
Okay, and you're right, Steve. That's not racist. Now,
no, exactly.
No, you're right.
They're lowering my wages. They're nicking the jobs.
You're right, Steve. That's not racist. Now, listen, Steve. You know why they're doing it tomorrow, don't you? You know why they want to do the march tomorrow, and you know why the police...
I'm not
Are you going to let me
Go on,
finish
then,
your sentence, Steve? You going to let me finish?
Yeah, go on.
Thank you, buddy. You know why they've chosen tomorrow, and you know why the police have got have tried to get an injunction for tomorrow?
Well, I don't. Go on, tell me.
Because Luton in Harmony are kind of having a bit of a thing. So it could be perceived, Steve, that these people who are definitely not racist could be trying to cause a little bit of trouble.
Well, they do it when the EDL and the BNP had marches, you had the anti-fascists. So it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if there's 10 different marches.
Well, no, it does matter ever so slightly. When Luton in Harmony...
Luton is a dive. It's a dump. It's a ghetto. And why? Because of all the foreigners that live in there.
And that's not right.
Not all of them. There are some, don't get me wrong, there's some nice people. There's some English people.
The ones that play football and run fast for us.
What's that?
The ones that play football and run fast for us. We can keep those ones.
No, I don't want Mo Farah in the athletics. He's a Somalian. How can he be British? He's not British. How dare he run for Britain?
Okay, Mo Farah, yeah, okay, right.
Well, he is. He's a Somalian.
Well,
how can you class him as British?
He's not called Mo Farah, that's for sure. Anyway.
Well, he's called something else, I don't know.
He's called something else, yes. He's called Mo Farah. But that's fine. That's fine, Steve. That's absolutely fine. Listen, none of the views that you've expressed this morning, Steve, are racist.
It's nothing to do with race. It's a different way of life, compatibility to this country, living the way we live. If people don't live the way we live, get them out.
Megan told us about her petition to get a McDonald's Mackie D Golden Arches bar in Biggleswade. She also gave us the latest on burger-based crimes. Have you spoken to McDonald's about this, Megan, about opening up this new store? Have you kind of been in touch with their management?
Yeah, I spoke to the Twitter account and they've sent me through to the press office.
Hey, nice.
Emailed them.
Okay. Have they caught the Hamburglar now?
The what?
Have they caught the Hamburglar now?
I can't say they have. I don't think.
Okay, so the Hamburglar's he's still at large, is he?
Probably, yeah.
See, that's just going to, people in Biggleswade are going to be reluctant to open one if there's a chance that the Hamburglar's going to turn up.
Yeah.
Burgle their hamburgers. Okay. Oh, well, let's keep our fingers crossed that the authorities are looking for him. Megan, I appreciate your time and well done. Let's see how this turns out. That's Megan Sloan. 03459 455 555. He's still at large. They seek him here, they seek him here. They seek the flipping Hamburglar every blooming where. All right, you've got to cut some bits down, make it work.
Okay.
No longer than an hour and 1 minute.
Yep.
Why the extra 1 minute?
Well, just an hour and one is the longest I can go. Why the extra attitude?
I'm not giving any attitude.
Could you go outside while I talk to Catherine about you?
Now.
Okay.
Now?
Actually go.
I'll just be outside, yeah?
No, just be well outside, because this could get loud.
Just outside.
No, right out.
He is so dishy, isn't he? And I just find myself, every time, getting angry to cover up for the fact that he's just so drop-dead gorgeous.
I feel so the same, but I'm trying to hold it back. Do you think I came across as too aggressive?
Well, I was going to say, I'm worried that I've bullied him a little bit too much because he's just so dreamy.
Oh. Think he's single? Doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter these days, does it?
Who's going first?
Let's toss for it.
Thanks for listening to this free download from BBC Three Counties Radio, your local radio station for beds, hearts and bucks, on FM, AM, digital radio, and online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.